Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of TGIM. I'm your host, Nicole Crow. We just crossed our 450th episode last week, and it never ceases to amaze me the power of consistency, the power of continuing to keep going. This podcast started 5 years ago in March of 2020. And when I made that first episode, I don't think I thought 5 years ahead. I was not thinking that far ahead. I don't think that far ahead in my everyday life. Like when I'm setting goals or planning or anything like that, my brain can do max 18 months, but typically I can really only see 6 months to a year ahead. So to think that 2020 Nicole, who started this podcast, to see where I'm at today, the guests that we have on our show. For example, this coming week, I am recording with Francesca Sitma. She's a big deal. Francesca's a big deal. I've seen her on big name podcasts like Lori Harder's. She's the creator of Hypno Breathwork. Yeah, she is, to me, like that's like a celebrity guest to have on the show. And I'm so excited for that. Again, we only got here because of our reputation, of the numbers and the views that we have. And the only way that we got to the numbers and the views that we have with our podcast is by being consistent and giving value. A podcast can be around for years, but if it doesn't give value, then people aren't going to continue to listen to it, and they're not going to share it. They're not going to tell their friends about it. They're not going to leave ratings and reviews. So there's two parts to this, and this is going to be a great segue into what I want to talk about today. There's the part of being consistent and obviously to keep going and doing the thing. And then the second part is to do it well and to provide value for your people. And I was thinking about, what do I want to talk about today? What would give value to our listeners? I know that whenever I talk about anything that has to do with money, our listenership is always higher. If the title has something to do about money, like how I went from being in tons and tons of debt, like $100,000 in student loan, $86,000 in student loan, 3 maxed out credit cards, I owed the CRA money. Like whenever I talk about that version of my life, which was only 5 years ago when I first met Kayla, remember, if you've not heard this story, she was the first person I told about my credit card debt because I had so much shame around it. And then Kayla just made it so normal and was just like, okay, let's just make a plan. It's not really that big of a deal. And we made a plan. And last April, actually, a year ago now, wow, all the celebrations. Last April, I paid off the very end of my $86,000 of student loan. That to me felt like such a milestone. And right away when I met Kayla, we made a plan and I paid off all 3 credit cards. And of course, our business does really so I can sustain my life. And this, I hope, also provides you the inspiration to know that if you are thinking about starting a business or leaving your 9-to-5 and going all in on your business, or rather just like really taking your business seriously, there's a lot of people who fear that they won't make as much money as they did in their 9-to-5, or that they won't make enough money to get themselves out of debt or sustain that or to keep going. And I just want me to be proof to you that you absolutely can. So when I tell these stories about anything to do with money, where I was, where I am, how our business started with 0 followers, $0, 0 listeners, 0 subscribers to where we are now, like when I tell these before and after stories, it's always the most clicks. And I believe it's because you want to hear real stories. You want to take value from real conversation, real lived experience. And so I was thinking about, it could be really valuable for those of you listening into today's episode to hear about some of the financial milestones that some of our clients have experienced recently. And I want to talk about the how. For those of you listening, if you didn't know this, we have our clients fill out a weekly tracker every Friday. It gets emailed to them and it's a form that they fill out. And then on Mondays, we review it and then we go through every single person's tracker, all of their responses, and then we give them a group feedback that's anonymous. We'll say person A, this person's doing this. We don't say who's who. And then we give personalized feedback through voice notes in the DMs. And then this also tailors questions that our clients can bring to mastermind if they're like, I'm unsure of what to ask or what I need the most help with. We're like, remember, you've been saying this in your tracker for 5 weeks now. That might be a good thing to mastermind. So we collect this data so we can see what our clients are doing in their business. And one of the things that we ask is, how much money did you make this week? We ask this because data doesn't lie. We don't ask this to judge or favorite or anything like that. It's simply data. Okay. And then we can piece together, and by we, I mean myself and Kayla and our clients, we can piece together that when they have higher revenue weeks and higher revenue months, we look at the data of what were you doing to make that happen. And it makes it really easy to connect the dots. So there's the first thing I want everybody to do. If you're listening to this right now, I want you to have a way that you are tracking your data. And what do you track and how do you track it? There's so many ways inside of Aligned CEO Method. What we have them do is fill out 2 trackers, a weekly tracker that tracks multiple questions. I'll go over what some of them are in a moment, and a client tracker. So tracking who you're having conversations with, who you followed up with, who you've asked for a sale from. If that freaks you out, then we definitely need to work together, because sales of your own product or your own service should not freak you out. You should love what you have for sale. And if you don't love what you have for sale, then your people are absolutely not going to love what you have for sale. And if you're like, ooh, I'm too whimsical, I'm too free flowing, I'm too whatever to track my data, okay, then don't track your data. What we know and what we've seen from our coaches, our peers, our own business, our clients, when you are woman enough to step up and look at your own numbers and track the data, you will have better results. That's just facts. I'm not here to argue that. You've got to step up and treat your business like a business. And you think any other business out there, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a clothing store, whether it's a 5-star boutique hotel resort, you think they're not looking at their data? Come on. If you want to start to make money in your business and treat your business seriously, you got to start looking at the numbers and you've got to track it and you've got to connect the dots. What's working, what's not working. So some of the questions that we ask our clients on their weekly tracker are, what's something you're proud of this week? What's something you learned this week? What's something you're going to do differently next week? What's your freebie? Where are you leading people? Who have you had direct conversations with? Where have you had those direct conversations? How much money did you make this week? And any questions or feedback from us. I could be missing one or two, but that's the general gist of it. You track that every single week and you can start to look at, wow, I'm really not working my business, or wow, I'm doing a really good job of putting myself out there, networking, connecting, growing my audience, making new sales, being innovative, putting something out there that people want to download or buy or whatever it might be. Because we look at the numbers, let's bring this back. Because we look at the numbers, we can see what our clients are generating. And our clients also celebrate inside of our private chat as well that we all have together. And in the last couple of months, some of the celebrations in terms of money that came through where we had one client who her business crossed $1 million in revenue in less than 2 years. Maybe she's at 1.5 years. Yeah, I think her business will be 2 at the end of summer. Within 1.5 years, her business crossed $1 million in revenue. We have another client who just started working with us in January. So she's 3 months into working with us. And her goal was to have multiple 5-figure months. And her business had its first $20,000 month in March. And she's so excited. And we were all celebrating her in the group. And we were asking her, how's she going to celebrate? Asking our client who crossed $1 million in her business, how are you celebrating? So we're gathering from everybody, these are milestones worth celebrating. And we want to acknowledge, how did you do it? We also had another client who's been with us for 3 years, and she had her biggest week yet. She had an almost $5,000 week, which that's a pretty big deal. When I was a teacher, I was lucky to make $5,000 a month, and then was taxed and the benefits and the pension and all of the things that goes into all those different areas. So then you're really taking home $3,500 or something like that. So for this client to be in her 3rd year with us, working her business, she asks all of the questions. I know that to her, it feels like a slow build. I want more and I want it now. And we're yes, and yes, we get that. You're ambitious. You want more. And an almost $5,000 week is something to be very proud of. So I want to use these 3 examples. There are so many more, but I want to use these 3 examples and break it down of how does a business cross $1 million in a year and a half? How does a business have a $20,000 month for the first time ever? How does somebody have an almost $5,000 week? And they're all clients of ours. And so I want to share a little bit about what I see from my perspective about their revenue, how it's done, what they're doing well, and you can grab a pen and paper and take notes. Let's start with the client who had her first $5,000 week or almost $5,000 week. And she's been with us for a few years. What do we see based off of the data, based off the tracker, based off of coaching her, conversations with her, that she is doing and doing really well? Actually, I had some one-to-one time with her in our last Vortex because we are a hybrid coaching program. We are a group, we are a community, we're the best, most supportive community out there. And we also offer one-to-one every 2 weeks. So if you're looking for business coaching that provides both, where you get one-to-one support with myself and or Kayla, maybe you want both of us with you, maybe you want just one or the other, then you get that inside of Aligned CEO Method. We are so high touch. We are so supportive. We're so inclusive, and we're after big goals. We're all after big goals. So I actually just recently had some one-on-one time with this client, and she was telling me about how the end of May is when she wants to reach her next big milestone in her business. And it's big, and it's like double what she's ever done. And I know it's so possible for her. And so what we talked about, get ready, get your pen and paper out, were all of the ways that she had to change who she was being. We did not talk about doing. We did not talk about selling. We didn't talk about different offers. We didn't talk about sales strategy. We talked all about who she was being. We talked about conversations that she had to have with her spouse. We talked about boundaries that she had to put in place with friends, and I say that in quotes. We talked about self-work that she had to start doing. We talked about inner work that she had to start doing. We talked about being okay that she is a busy mom and that sometimes she just needs to go to bed early and get more sleep, and to be very okay with that, because the well-rested version of her will accomplish so much more than the version of her trying to work her business at 9 p.m. at night when she's exhausted. We talked about all of the ways she had to shift internally first. We mapped out a plan of the inner work of what she's going to start doing daily, of the type of script that she's going to create for May 30th, the feeling states that she's going to embody, the way she will celebrate it, what it will do for her and her family. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking, no, I need strategy. I need to know how you sell to have a $20,000 month, to have a $10,000 month, to have a $5,000 week, to have $1 million year. I need to know how you sell. No, you don't. No, you do not. You need to know who you need to become so that selling feels easy. That's what you need to know. You need to know, who do I need to become? What standards do I have to set for myself? What standards do I have to set for myself and my family? What boundaries do I have to put in place? What sort of ass-kicking accountability do I need from my coaches? Those are the questions you need to ask yourself. But if we look at the data of how did she have a $5,000 week? She had that from being consistent and showing up with the same offer for a little over 2 years. The business that she has now, she created halfway through the first year of us working together. And it was a slow build. And we love this. We love a slow build too. We were also a slow build because then you set a solid foundation. It's the same in real life. You can't grow your home really big on a shitty foundation or no foundation. It'll topple over. It won't stand a chance in these Victoria winds. I'm just kidding. But for real, foundation is everything. She set the stage with a really solid foundation, and she took messy action before anything was perfect. And spoiler alert, nothing's ever going to be perfect. She took messy action. She started an Instagram account. She started putting herself out there. Then, because inside of our program, we encourage Kajabi. We encourage Kajabi for many reasons, but because it's a one-stop shop. So Kajabi will house your website. It will be your CRM, which means it will keep all of your customer data. It will allow you to collect payment. It will allow you to host courses. It will allow you to have a community. It will allow you to do email marketing. Like, you literally only have to purchase Kajabi. Whereas with other websites, then you have to add all these add-ons, and then you have to have an additional payment processor, and then maybe have to build out a separate CRM. Maybe you can't have a community on there, so you have to have people inside of Zoom. Kajabi is your one-stop shop. This client knew that. She wanted to build a business that she took seriously. So she learned how to do Kajabi with Kayla. And now she's able to host everything that she does in person, also online. She took her skill set that she was already doing in person and transferred it into the online space. And then over the course of the last few years, we've really helped her with her marketing, with her online presence, with her sales strategy. So we've helped her with all of that. But if I had to say what was the one thing that allowed her to have the almost $5,000 week, it was compounding. Compounding of consistency, of showing up. Now people are knowing about her. Now people are talking about her. So the last time she went to go do something, let's just say there were 20 people, and those 20 people really loved what they got from her, and they each tell 2 friends. Now you're at 60 people. That's the power of compounding when it comes to being really great in business. And we see this all the time. We started Align CEO Method 5 years ago with 7 people. 7 people, and we're at 40 now with all organic marketing. It's all been organic. It's all been word of mouth. It's all been referral. It's all been people telling their friends. If you're going to hire a business coach, it's got to be Nicole and Kayla. We actually just had somebody who's been with us for almost a year tell me in the DMs the other day. She said, "Oh, I was raving about you two to one of my friends." She said, "I was telling my friend, when I need website support, when I need something fixed on the back end, when I need like this technical piece that I just cannot figure out on my own, I know I can ask Kayla and have the answer in 2 seconds." She's, and I know when I need a true ass kicking mentally to get myself out of this woe is me attitude or victim mentality or why is business so hard, I know within 5 minutes you can switch my mindset. And and you can't get that kind of business coaching anywhere else where you can get one or where you can get both. It's always one or the other. And we were like, yeah, that's our special sauce. That is why everybody refers us. So if you're listening to this, side note, if you want to apply to Align CEO Method, if this is your time, if you feel like, okay, I'm done thinking about it, I'm done wasting time, I'm done going to this job that I hate, I'm done trying to build my business on my own, then go to www.mylanepurpose.com/aligned CEO method, or just go to our main website, mylanepurpose.com. How can we work? Ways that we can work together. Choose Align CEO Method, and then you've got to apply, and we'll see if it's a good fit. We'd love to support you to have big months in your business, to have community, to have coaching, to have accountability, to have an unstoppable mindset. Really, that's what's going to take you far. So that's client 1. Client 1, we're celebrating you with your almost $5,000 week in your 3rd year with us. You're compounding your consistency. You're compounding showing up. You're compounding getting social proof, asking for referrals, asking for testimonials, asking people to tell their friends and family. Way to go. Let's go to client 2, who started with us in January, wanted to have her first multiple 5-figure month, and she just had her first $20,000 month in March. And I want to talk about what we've seen from her tracker and what she's done. I believe the biggest thing with this client is that she really has upped her visibility. And not just her visibility, but the visibility of her team and the people she works with. She is allowing herself and her business to be more seen. And when people aren't seeing you and they're not hearing you, they don't know to buy from you. That is one of the first things I will ask somebody when they're telling us that they first come to work with us and they're saying that they're not making sales. I'll ask, how visible are you being? Do people know that you have stuff for sale? Are you selling every single day? Like, just the same way I would go to the coffee shop down the road. And if I went and some days they were open and some days they weren't, and I didn't know their hours, and it seemed like it was really hard availability to go in and get my coffee, would I shop there? Absolutely not. It's the same for you with your online business. If you're not selling frequently, often, telling people how they can work with you, inviting people into how they can work with you, they're going to go to your competitor. People want what they want. They want to buy. People are buying stuff all day, every day. Do not let the news or media or anything about the economy or tariffs or anything like that make you think otherwise. People are shopping all day, every day because people want their problem solved all day, every day. When you've got a business, you have a solution to somebody's problem. So don't let all that noise get in the way. I'm here to tell you that we just had our most profitable Q1 that we have had to date in a time when everybody's saying the economy is tanking. We're like, not us. Our business is going to have our highest revenue year to date. We know that because we're already way ahead on track. We know that because our Q1 was already so much higher than Q1s we've had in the past. And we're on track to do more and more. All of that other stuff is just noise. Just ignore it. Get out there, show up, be visible. That's what this client did. She took the visibility that she already had. And when I say be visible, I mean, you've got a social presence. You are showing up more on social. You're showing up more in your email marketing. You're showing up more with email campaigns, sending more emails to your people. It's showing up more and inviting people into how they can work with you. I believe that's what took her from having like consistent $10, $12, $15,000 months to a $20,000 month. It was being more visible. And I know this because her and I worked on visibility one-to-one. So when we go into one-to-one calls, she's feeling really good about this, that, and the other thing that she's got lined up and for sale. And now it's like about me. It's about being more visible, being more vocal, being more seen. And I'm like, okay, so we work on that. And then we just dial up. How do you be more visible? Again, all of this work comes down to you. It all comes down to your internal work. We can talk about the sales cycle. You could pay for ads. You could hire somebody to put a funnel in place. But if you do not know how to hold the energy of community, of clients, of being a salesperson, of making lots of money in your business, none of it will work, or it won't work long term. And we're not here to build overnight successes. We're here to build businesses that last, that make meaning, that make a lot of money. You get to have a lot of fun. You get to do a lot of good in the world. Like, that's what we're all about. And then lastly, let's go to the third client whose business just crossed $1 million in revenue. This is a brick-and-mortar business. This is absolutely phenomenal. And I give this person all the credit to her. It is the way that she has showed up in building this business and the unique ways that she's created revenue streams within her business is absolutely remarkable. That's the word. She's not just offering the typical services that everybody in her industry offers. She's created, again, online streams. She's created super fun and innovative work. She's created a team culture where people want to work with her in her business. It's all about the energy. It's about how she shows up and how she leads her team, how she shows up and thinking outside of the box and what's available for the people who decide to spend their money on her business. It's all about her. It's all about her holding the capacity to be more, to hold more, to lead more. Imagine in this day and age, starting a brick and mortar business, how many people would say that's not a good idea? No, like rent is astronomical. And she lives here in Victoria, which I believe is like the third most expensive city in Canada. Her business is in a very expensive city, in a time when people are freaking out about the economy and people are saying people aren't buying, people aren't shopping, businesses can't pay their rent, so on and so forth. That's all noise. That's all external noise. She is choosing not to hear any of that and to move forward, acting accordingly as if she will be the most successful business owner in her industry. And she is. She is just paving the way for what is possible. It's all about her. It's all about her ability to be the founder, to be the person who creates like such an exceptional standard for her team. It's all about her ways of thinking outside of the box and creating a brand for herself that then is also recognized by other people through her business. So having a brick and mortar business that generates $1 million in a year and a half, having the second person also has a brick and mortar business. Interesting. All three people have both. Wow. Okay. This is cool. I did not connect the dots until right now. All three examples that I just shared with you are all people who work with people both in person and online. And that's really what we're all about here at My Aligned Purpose, and especially in Aligned CEO Method, is thinking about ways to grow your business. And we've shared our quiz now for over a year, www.myalignedpurpose.com/quiz. And our quiz is find out how fast you can move from one-to-one to one-to-many without sacrificing more of your time. And that's what all of these business owners have done. They all have brick and mortar businesses. They all see people in person, in the flesh, and they all knew the potential to grow something online as well, in addition to say, I see these patients in person or these clients in person, and I want to be able to offer them something online so that they don't have to be on a wait list, or they don't have to wait to their next appointment or next class or whatever it might be. And they've stepped up and filled the gap. That's what businesses do. They solve problems, they fill gaps, they create solutions. So now they get to see people in person and see people online. And then what's the biggest benefit to having a business online? You don't have to only serve people in your geographic location. So while all of their in-person clients are probably pretty close in proximity to where they live, they now get to serve people all around the world. This is the magic of moving your business or starting a secondary stream in the online space. Kayla and I will often say, take your business online. We've had quite a few people reach out to us and say, I don't understand how you would support me. Like, I'm a realtor, or I'm a mortgage broker, or I'm a teacher, or whatever it might be. And I don't understand like how you can take what I do day to day in my 9 to 5 and help me grow that. And we're like, oh, because we help you take it online. We help you create offers that sell online. We help you grow bigger and better teams. We help you become a better leader. We help you put systems that create automations in place. So if you want to take time off, your business keeps running. We are business coaches. This is what we are trained to do. This is how we've been able to help hundreds and hundreds of women start, grow, and scale their businesses online. So if you're curious about having a business that makes $1 million in a year and a half, having a business that crosses its first $20,000 months in 3 months of working with us, if you're curious about having $5,000 weeks instead of $5,000 months or something more, then please reach out to us. And what I really want you to take away from this episode is the fact that all 3 of those business owners, what we can say is true about what they've done to generate that cash flow and to make that impact in their business is all about them. It's all about who they are being as the business owner. It's all about their inner work. It's all about their identity, the standards they set for themselves, the stories that they're going to stop telling themselves, the boundaries they put in place, the environment in which they position themselves in, the people and the places, the experiences and the things that they are calling in and also removing out. It's all about them. So as we conclude this episode, the one thing that I really want you to take away from this or implement beyond listening to this episode is I want you to ask yourself, what can I do today or this week that raises my standard, my personal standard for who I am and how I operate my business? What is a standard you are raising the bar on? What is a standard that you are setting for yourself where you take your business more seriously, you take your clients more seriously, you take your sales more seriously? What is that thing that you can do today or this week? All right, and I'm going to wrap it here. I am, of course, going to remind you that you have 1 week left to buy tickets to She Leads. 1 week. Ticket sales close next Tuesday, April 22nd. There will be no more tickets available after that date. Tickets are only $5.97. That gets you into the entire weekend. That's Friday night, your food, drinks, coming into the market, the whole party. Then coming back on Saturday, coffee, tea, lunch, snacks, goodie bags, speakers. This is like personal development on steroids. It's going to be the most magical 2 days that Victoria has ever seen for ambitious women business owners, aspiring women business owners. You're not going to be able to find this level of coaching, connection, networking, personal development, business growth, collaboration, all of that for $5.97 anywhere else. Canadian, right here in Victoria, BC. Come on out. We'd love to see you. We'd love to have you. We still have some tickets left. We've sold over 100. And so we've still got some room. We would love to have you, but you only have a week left to grab yours. I look forward to seeing you there, to meeting you if we've not yet met in real life. If you're nervous to come because you're coming on your own, we have a group chat that we've started for everyone who's coming to She Leads. So you can say hello, introduce yourself, and start to meet all of the amazing people who are going to be there all weekend long and get to know one another and connect before you even arrive. And who knows, you might even meet a new bestie before you even get there for the weekend, be able to sit together. And we're also here for the courageous women who are getting outside of their comfort zones and coming on their own and just trusting in the unfolding of what that is. All right, have a great week, everyone.